Hello, my name is Samantha. My pronouns are she, her, and welcome to my reading vlog. Also, my car. I am out running some errands, but I wanted to get this vlog started now. I turned off the AC to record this part, so we're gonna rush through this before I melt. So here is the plan for the vlog, okay? So one of the books I pre-ordered for this year arrived yesterday, so I was excited to read it. And I was like, why not make a vlog out of it? But then I was like, well, I don't want to do a vlog for just one book, which of course I could do, but I didn't want to do that. So I thought, I did just recently buy a book from the library book sale that I feel like would vibe well with this one. So I was like, let's do that. But then I was like, well, that's a book I already own. And I already have 3 books checked out from the library. And I've got some other books coming out in the next few weeks that I am on hold for the library. And those are new releases. So like they're going to be coming available in the next few weeks-ish. So I would want to get these library books read before those become available. So I was like, well, let's add those 3. So I've got 5 books on my list for the blog. So I'm going to let you know what they are, but we're not going to go into summaries. Again, it's hot, and I don't want this intro portion to be too long. I don't want this to be too long of a vlog. We'll see what happens. So the first one is my pre-order that is Verity, Vox, and the Curse of Foxfire by Don Martin. I follow the author on TikTok and Instagram. He is an absolute delight, so I was excited that he had a book come out, and it sounded interesting. This is like middle grade fantasy-ish, which I am not a fantasy reader, but it does seem like this will have whimsy, and I am a fan of whimsy. So I'm probably going to start with this one. The other one that I thought of that I got from the library book sale is a popular one from a few years ago. I can't really tell you what it's about, but from what I remember of the vibes of that one, I feel like it'll match with Verity Vox, and that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. So I'm excited to read this one. And then my library books. So I've got 2 mysteries and then a nonfiction. The first mystery is Murder Runs in the Family by Tamara Berry. This is sort of like Woman and Her Grandmother murder mystery. On the back it says, Amber thought she had troubles before her grandma was arrested for murder. Sounds pretty good. And then the other mystery one is The Game is Murder by Hazell Ward. My understanding of this one is that like the intention of it is that you are trying to solve the mystery before it's revealed. And then my nonfiction one is called Love in a Fucked Up World. I was gonna say effed up, and I just ran right through that. Love in an Effed Up World, How to Build Relationships, Hook Up, and Raise Hell Together by Dean Spade. I think the title lets you know what that one's about. So I think I might read this one throughout reading the others, but we'll see. I had to turn the air on because I was already starting to sweat. But since I'm in the car, I might as well show you what my first stop was. So I picked up some new comic books today. So I've got Action Comics 1089. And so since seeing the new Superman movie, I've gotten back into reading comics. So maybe I'll talk about in this vlog, but that's not really what it's about. And then the other one is issue 2 of Gotham by Gaslight. This is volume 2, issue 2. So this is sort of what if Batman was in the Victorian era. I like it. So, and it's not just Batman. There are several like Justice League characters in this. So that's what I picked up today. And now I'm gonna go hang out with my mom. And then when I get home, we are starting Verity Vox. So I've now finished just the first chapter of Verity Vox and the Curse of Foxfire. I think I'm really gonna like this. I love the way that this is written. It has the like the whimsy and the wondrousness and the imaginativeness of like the way that like really good classic children's literature is written, where it kind of addresses the reader. It's sort of like, this fantastical thing I just said, like, you understand what I'm saying. And it's like a kid would be like, yeah, exactly, right, no, I'm on board, I'm following. And it's like it's good. I like it. So I've now finished Verity Vox and the Curse of Foxfire. And actually, before I tell you my star rating, let me explain what each of my star ratings mean. So I only do full stars. 1 means I did not like it. 2 means it was okay. 3 means I liked it. That's by far my most common rating. 4 means I loved it, and 5 means I am in love with it. I'm going to give this 2 stars. It was okay. That's a bit disappointing, but it's... So, what I liked about it, so as I mentioned before, there is I do like the feel of the writing. I do like that. And I also liked that even though the magic in this is fantastical, you can tell that it's like that the base of knowledge is like in like Appalachian folk traditions in witchcraft, that it's based in that. And the author has written a book about witchcraft. It's called The Dabbler's Guide to Witchcraft. It's on my to-read list. But so that even though the magic is fantastical in this, there are like supernatural things that happen. You can tell it's based in like actual traditions and practices, and I liked that. But what I didn't like, what didn't work well for me, was kind of mostly in like the last third of the book, I'd say. I don't know that it was necessarily a pacing issue. It kind of seemed like that how the plot was structured just seemed like there were odd choices made. Like you're maybe like you've got a third left of the book, and like she's just had the confrontation with this entity that has been like cursing the town. But like there's still a third of the book left. And like she's only allowed to stay in this town for 1 year, but at that point, like there's still 6 months left, and it's like you'd think that like what happens at that point would sort of happen with like 20 pages left, but that's not just how it's structured. And like there is still like there are things that happen, but honestly, for a middle grade book, I found it a little bit confusing, and I'm not sure if I was a fantasy reader, if it would just make more sense to me what was happening. But like I think you'd classify this as a middle grade book. Because, and the other thing, I kept trying to figure out how old the main character was, because at first I thought she was 13, but then that couldn't have been the case, because it says like she first leaves home at 13 and then is like traveling from town to town 1 year at a time. So, and if she's like, well, it doesn't say how many years she's been doing that. So I'm like, is she like 15 to 17? But anyway, you'd think a book written, you know, for an audience who could be 12 years old, it would be more clear. Maybe it just wasn't clear to me, but the last third of it was kind of, it took me longer than it should have to finish. And I didn't find the ending super satisfying, maybe partly because I was a little bit confused, but it didn't work for me as well as I'd hoped, and as well as I kind of hoped that like the feel of the writing and like the witchcraft in here, like the things I did enjoy, weren't really enough to totally outweigh just the questions I had with like, I don't know, maybe it was pacing, I don't know. But yeah, 2 stars, so it was okay. It is now Saturday morning of Labor Day weekend, and here is the plan that challenged the question. So I am at the library about to go in for some like dedicated reading time, so hopefully get less distracted than reading at home. So I've got my book in my always carry a book bag from Pilsen Community Books in Chicago. If this is available to order on their website, I will link that below, because this is such a good tote bag. I've got my Free Palestine pins on here. Okay, but the book I'm reading now, so next book for the vlog, I went with The Game is Murder. I'm about 40 pages into this, and I am confused. Okay, so it is, like I think I said in the intro, it's set up that like you are intended to try and solve it as it goes. And it's like, so you are invited to this murder mystery party, and you get assigned the detective character. So essentially all the other guests are going to be like, you know, giving information, you got to ask questions, look for clues, and then you are the guest who is like supposed to be able to figure it out. But here's the thing. So there are these two brothers who are hosting this murder mystery party. Except, and I could be misunderstanding this. There's something I don't get. So the two brothers who are hosting the party, the murder mystery you're trying to solve is like a real crime that really happened, I think, and like that their father was accused of. Okay? And it's like, why is this a game to these brothers? And all the other guests at the party, here's what I'm not clear on. Are they also just random people that have been assigned? Like, you are going to be, like they're actually people involved in the actual murder case. So, like, the blood spatter expert is there, the detective is there, the husband of the woman who was killed is there, like, the sister of their aunt is there. And it's like, are those actually those people? Or are those people who have been like, I'm going to play the aunt tonight. Tonight, I'm going to play the blood expert. Like, but then here's my question. Like, if they are actually those people, why did those people attend this party? Why would they do that? But if they're just people playing those characters, like, the brothers have set this up of like, we don't think our father did it, but we wanted to find out who did. But if all of these people are playing characters, then all the information that they give would have been provided to them by the brothers. So there's nothing for the brothers to figure out if they are the ones who are providing all the information. Like, do they just want people to present it to them? Like, they've set it up like it's actually supposed to be a murder mystery party, but I don't understand. And I like reread part of the beginning again. I was like, did I miss where that was clarified? And I don't think I did. And so I'm just a little bit confused. But back to the challenge question. So it is Labor Day weekend. I've got Monday off work. This is like a 400 plus page book. Can I finish this over Labor Day weekend? I'm only on page 41 and there's like 442, 43, something like that. There's 443. So I've got 402 pages. Can I finish that? It's Saturday morning. I've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, or maybe I'll just get too frustrated and I will just move on to another book, but that's where we are so far. Okay, so I just finished chapter 7. I'm having like a WTF moment, okay? I don't know for sure what's happening, but I think this is more dangerous than I thought. So I've got my book, got my tea. I'm ready to do some reading outside. So the interesting thing about where I'm at in the book right now is that with what's happening right now, I feel like there should be like 50 pages left. There's 200 pages left. So I feel like I'm in for another big twist. It's the next day, back out on the balcony. I've got another cup of tea and I've got exactly 100 pages left in the book. So when I had checked in yesterday, there was maybe like 220 pages left, and I was at the start of a quote-unquote trial. Now, generally, like, I don't read courtroom books, and you think on paper that would work for me, but it's just not something I read. The trial in this one is working for me. However, so I was saying yesterday that, like, I feel like, there's 200 pages left. We're into this part of it, but there's 200 pages. There's got to be another twist coming. Well, what was coming was more trial. So where I'm at now, they've just wrapped up like closing statements. And so like there's still the verdict, but like from the beginning of the trial to the end of closing statements is 140 pages. It's just more trial. And like it did work for me though, where typically that probably wouldn't. I am enjoying this. I am liking this. And I am taking just pages and pages and pages of notes, because like the setup of the book is, can you solve it? Or really, because the point of like this murder mystery game is to determine like whether, so the hosts are, they want to find out whether their father specifically was guilty of the murder he was accused of. So at the end of this quote unquote trial, so I do have an opinion now. I know which way I would vote if I was on the jury, but there's still 100 pages left. And so I do feel like there is a twist coming. And I do feel like I've picked up on, if not what it is, then what it's related to. So we'll see. But I've got 100 pages left. I'm hoping to finish it today. That's where we are. Okay. So we have our murderer. And so it's not who I guessed, but I did, like, it was a person I was like, why are we not talking about this more? And so, okay. But what really gets me is that, so they've just gone over like how he knew it was this person. Like the one thing I miss, and it's not even like I didn't even actually miss it, because like it was one thing that like I kept like going back to. I was like, but this is a thing. And it's like, but I didn't connect that to the person. Ugh. I mean, I'll show you. I took literally dozens of pages of notes, and that's in my notes, but not connected to the person. That's good. That's good. So these are all of my notes that I took while reading The Game is Murder. I had fun doing this. I don't know that I've ever taken notes on a mystery novel to this extent before. And if I have done something like that, it's been a long time. So there we go. All right, quick update. And we are going to have to do this quick because I have somewhere to be in like an hour, just over an hour. So I'm at the library. I'm going to return some books. So I am returning Game is Murder, which I just finished. And then, so this one is due in like 4 days. And I had checked this one out earlier than the other one, so I can't renew it again. So instead of trying to finish this in 4 days, I'm just going to return this. I'll check it out again at some other time. I'm also going to return Murder Runs in the Family. I read the first chapter, wasn't loving it, so I decided to DNF it. So instead, I had checked out from the library maybe like a week ago now, the library game. So I'm going to do this one instead. So it's in a series. It's maybe, I don't know. It's not the first in the series. I have not read the other one or ones in the series, but I feel like it's the kind of, I think it's a cozy mystery or the mystery series where like you don't have to read them in order. But if I like this one, I'll probably start at the beginning. But it says a secret staircase novel, and it says there's a body in the library and everyone is a suspect. My boxes are checked, so I'm in for this one. So I've read the first 9 pages, but I'm liking it so far. It's a really good idea. So there's this, no, I'm going to read more before I try and describe it. I've only read a couple of pages. So, okay, so that's where we are with the books. So I'm returning the other ones to the library. Then I'm going to go quick and check out a new to me comic book store. And then I am going over to the AMC because they're having a Hamilton screening. I have never seen Hamilton. I have never listened to Hamilton, but it's like one of the most famous musicals in the world. And so I saw they were having a screening and I was like, this is the time. This is the time. So that's what I'm doing this evening. Well, I finally know now what everyone else in the world has known for years, is that Hamilton is really good. It was really good. It was fun, and it was funny, and it was, so at the first few minutes they had the actors from the show talking about like their experience with it and like how it all came to be. And it was so clearly like this wild idea that he had, that he was like, I've got something here and I'm going to make something of it. And my goodness, he did. Wow. That was good. Everybody's right. Everybody's right. Hamilton is very good. I never doubted it would be good. I wasn't sure what I would think of it. I figured I'd probably like it. Wow. Top-notch musical. That was very good. And so well done. Like every part of it was, even the lighting. The lighting was amazing. Good show. So I figure I also show you what I got at the comic book store. So I went in looking for Captain Planet #4, which I did find. But like, I'm looking all over the place, like I can't find it. And like, they have them, all the new like single issues organized by publisher, if that's the right term. So like all DC's together, Marvel's together, Images together, Dark Horses together. Like, and I was like, I can't find Dynamite. I was like, maybe they don't have it. So I asked the guy, I was like, do you have Captain Planet? I think it's, by Dynamite, which it is. So I was right on that. So he's like, yeah, it's right by, like right above where it says like War on Gaza. And I was like, ears perked up, excuse me? So, and then, yes, so right above, so Captain Planet #4. Got that here. But then I also purchased The War on Gaza by Joe Sacco, who also wrote another graphic novel several years ago now about Palestine. Very influential. And I was like, I couldn't believe that it was there and like prominently, featured. And I was like, obviously, I need this too. So I'm excited to read this. Oof. Oh. There's an image in here that's just, it's gonna be a tough one. But impactful, I would imagine. So. Whew, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not very long, but I might take this slow. Because it's obviously... Okay. I'll go home now. Okay, so I know I'm kind of super backlit here, but otherwise I'd have the sun on my face. So, update. So I finished the library game. I am so torn because I don't know if I should give this 2 stars or 3 stars. As a reminder, 2 stars, it was okay. 3 stars, I liked it. I can't decide. It's been 24 hours now since I finished this, and okay, so let me tell you about this. So the story, because it has a really good idea. So let me just tell you the basic premise of this. So the idea is that there's this, so the main character, so this is book 4 of the series. I've not found out. So the main character, she works, her father has it's called Secret Staircase Construction. They do like different home renovation projects for like, if you want to add like a secret room or a secret passageway or a secret staircase, or if like you want to make your garden like a secret garden, cool stuff like that. So she works for her father's company, and they are working on a project in what will be a privately owned, like open for the public, but a privately owned library of like classic mystery fiction. And there's this town event that is coming up that small businesses in town are going to be participating in, and so they want to participate, and so they are going to be hosting this like murder mystery / escape room thing at this library. And so they're having a dress rehearsal, because there's like 3 actors who are going to be like leading a group of people through this, and so they're having a dress rehearsal, and one of the actors ends up dead. Mystery from there. And the whole like classic mystery, like golden age mystery, is my favorite genre. So like this is like, it very, very, like I've never actually done an escape room, but I want to. But like this is just, the idea is so good. And the other thing I really liked about this is that like there were twists throughout. And I feel like, this is a cozy mystery. It's not a thriller, but one of my problems with thrillers is that they're not thrilling. And there's usually like a big twist at the end, but like this had twists throughout, and so I liked that. And so like the idea was good, the pacing was good, the structure was good, the writing itself was okay, but so for the who done it at the end, I was satisfied with who did it, but I wasn't super satisfied with why. And like that's kind of a make or break for a mystery novel, but I'm like, is this a 2 or a 3? Because like, is it a 2? Not entirely, but is it a 3? Not I not entirely. I don't know. I still don't know what to give this book. I'm gonna have to decide by the end of the vlog, so I guess we'll see. But then I started, and I'm only like maybe 25 pages. Yeah, 25 pages into The House in the Cerulean Sea. So I'm not super clear yet on what it's about, but first impression, are we gonna have to fight some fascists? First impression of this book. So, we'll see. I am back in the car, but I wanted to wrap this up. So I tried. I did. I pretty solidly tried, but I'm gonna DNF this. I'm kind of bummed, but I'm gonna DNF The House in the Cerulean Sea. I got almost 100 pages, 90 something pages, and I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't really connecting with it. I wasn't really excited to learn more. I know, like, because, and I tried to, because at 80 pages, I was like, this is not, but I was like, you know what, though, it's got just a little bit of a slow start. I feel like things are about to start happening, and like they had started to, because I read then, another 15, 20 pages, and I was like, no, so, DNF. So, to wrap up, and I think this whole vlog has been filmed over several weeks. But okay, so I read The Game is Murder. I gave that 3 stars. And that one, what stands out to me most from that one is just because I put in the extra like time and effort of like writing out notes, trying to solve it. Like I leaned into the gimmick of that one, and I liked it. 3 stars. And then I read Verity and the Curse of Foxfire. That one I gave 2 stars. There were parts of it I really did like and appreciate, but then there was also I was confused. Like, I didn't really get how the magic worked, what they were doing. I was just a bit lost. But that is, to be clear, that is the unpopular opinion. Most people loved this book. So if, take a look through the summary. If it sounds good to you, you will probably like it. I just happened to, there was just something that missed there for me. And so then I read The Library Game. That one because I know before I was like, I cannot decide between 2 or 3 stars. I've decided for 3 stars. I felt like I liked it enough. There were enough good things about it that sort of pushed it towards 3 rather than 2. So, The Library Game. And I think I might still read another book from that series. So, that's something there. And then, unfortunately, the DNF with House in the Cerulean Sea. So I'm going to be donating this to my library. I've got a small pile of, books to donate that are going to go there eventually. So that was the vlog. It didn't work out quite the way I sort of planned out at the beginning, but, not every book is going to be 4 or 5 stars. And that, for me, 3 is my most common rating. So, I'm not surprised so I got 2 3s and a 2. That's not that unusual for me, honestly. But, so that wraps up this one. I do have an idea. Well, I'm going to try and do 2 more vlogs before the end of the year. At least 2. I've got a really pretty good idea for one of those. So keep an eye out for that. But, happy reading.